Om Namo Brahmadipyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrubhyo Vamsha Rishibhyo Gurubhyo Shankaram Shankaracharyan Keshavam Badarayam Sutramashikritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murtibheda Vibhagine Vyomavatyaptadehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Shri Guru Namaha Om Bhadram Karneभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः सुष्ठुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमि स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्ददातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति
ॐ प्रज्ञानां शुप्रदानैः स्थिरचरनिकरव्यापिभिर्व्याप्य लोकान् भुक्त्वा भोगांस्तविष्ठान् पुनरपि धिषणोद्भासितान् कामजन्यान् पीत्वा सर्वान् विशेषान् स्वपति मधुरभुङ् मायया भोजयन् नो माया सङ्ख्यातुरीयम् परममृतमजं ब्रह्म यत्तन्नतोऽस्मि। यो विश्वात्मा विधिज विषयान् प्राश्य भोगान् स्थविष्ठान् पश्चाच्चान्यान् स्वमतिविभवान् ज्योतिषा स्वेन सूक्ष्मान् सर्वानेतान् पुनरपि शनैः स्वात्मनि स्थापयित्वा हित्वा सर्वान् विशेषान् विगतगुणगणः सात्वसौ नः तुरीयः जाग्रदादित्रयोन्मुक्तम् जाग्रदादिमयम् तथा ओङ्कारेकसु संवेद्यम् यत्पदं तन्नमाम्यहम्। ॐ
धन्यवाद नित्य. We will continue our study of Mandukya Upanishad and the Karika. So as we all, I'll just do a recap. As we all know that Mandukya Upanishad being the shortest one with 12 mantras only has been considered as the only remedy, Kevalam. Mandukyam eva malam mumukshunam vimokshaye is what is told. That if you study Mandukya alone, that is enough for you to liberate from your all ignorance and the related issues from the ignorance. And unlike the other Upanishad here, we do not have any stories or scenery which is being in the background to describe the Upanishad. Straight away from the word go, this Upanishad starts with nothing other than the truth and the only truth. So it started with Omiteda Aksharamidam Sarvam Tasyopa Vyakhyanam Bhutam Bhavat Bhavishyati Sarvam Onkara Eva Yachanyat Trikaladidam Tasyo Tatapyo Onkara Eva. That means Om is the one Aksharam which is for the which is standing for the Brahma word. Tadapi Onkara Eva. And the brief treatise, but which is very explicitly clear, is this Upanishad which says the Mahavakya, I am Atma Brahma. So in the second mantra, it says, Sarvam Hetat Brahma, I am Atma Brahma. This Atma, I am Atma, this Atma is indeed Brahma. Soyam Atma Chatushpat. So those who do not understand this Atma as Brahman, for the purpose of their understanding, Soyam Atma Chatushpat, this has to be understood in the fourfold method in which the Upanishad is going to narrate it. So it takes the fourfold aspect as nothing outside for us to investigate or do any analysis, etc. It is talking about our own experience in our life, and that simply is divided into four aspects of our experience. The first being the Jagarit or the waking state, which is Bahipratnya Saptanka Ekona Vimshatimuka Stula Book Vaishwanara Pratama Pada. It is called the Vaishwanara in the individual or in the microcosm, and it is called Virat in the macrocosm. And that what is the speciality of it? Bahipratnya. It knows all objects as if it is outside. Therefore, it is Bahipratnya. Pratnya is the knowledge. Bahipratnya is the knowledge of outside things. And for that, the tools are Ekona Vimshati Mukha for the microcosm and Saptanga for the macrocosm. Saptona Vimshati Mukha is both our organs of perception, organs of action, mind, Mano, Buddhi, Ahankara, Chitta, in the four. And it is interacting with the Stula book, as a Stula book. Stula book means gross objects or grossness of the experience is the speciality of Jagaridasthana or the Vaishwanara, the waker. Stula book means here to understand that anything which we feel is real and gross is what is called a Stula book here. It is not referring necessarily our daytime or waking hours. No. Anything which is felt as a gross or which remains with us as a real experience, that is what is called the Stula book. And the second quarter is called the Swapnasthana Anda Prajna Saptanga Ekona Vimshati Mukha Pravibhitta Taijasa Dvitiya Pada. The second one is called Taijasa in the microcosm and Hiranyagarbha as the macrocosm. Now, what is the speciality of this from the Jagrat or the waking? Pravivikta book. It is interacting with subtle experiences. It can be in the daytime when we are our waking hours, when we get into a remembrance, a memory, or recalling our memory, etc. is also in the Pravivikta book. And Anda Prajna, and all these Prajna of knowing these objects or these objects are appearing to be inside us. Our memory, we don't see the memory as an object outside. That is why it is called Anda Prajna. Same way, that does not include the memory alone. The entire dream experience. In the dream experience, which are all subtle, is also part of this. But in the dream, there are something which is as good as gross, which leaves a lasting impression because of which in the waking we remember the dream. Therefore, those experiences of the dream are not of the Taijasa or the subtle experience. They need to be treated as gross, which is bringing a memory for us. It happens even in the deep sleep. The knowing of nothingness is as good as, but we don't have an object. So what is the third quarter is Yatra supno na kanjana kamam kamayate na kanjana swapnam pasyati tat sushuptam sushuspasthana eki bodha prajnanagana eva anandamayo hi ananda book tejo mukha pratnya tritiya pada. Pratnya tritiya pada. The pratnya is the tritiya pada, the third quarter. Now this pratnya is what? Yatra supnoda kanjana kamam kamede. Like in the dream or in the waking, there is desires. And based on the desires, we experience our kanchana sopnam pashyati. The dream which is not satisfied by the waking experiences is dreamt as the experience or interaction through the sopna or in the mind as a subtle way. Whereas in the sushupta sthana, which is called the deep sleep state, eki bhuta. There is no separate object, subject, and the experiencing in that. All the three have merged into one, that is by Eki Bhudaha. And therefore, Prajnana Gana is a mass of awareness, because when we wake up, we say that I had a good sleep, I knew nothing. And that there is nothing which is there to disturb or consume that happiness or the not having anything to consume our energy in the deep sleep, therefore he is Anandamaya. This Anandamaya is not the Ananda of the nature of Brahman. It is almost similar, but not exactly the same. This is the absence of multitude which is giving us the Anandamaya in the deep sleep state. And that is called the Prajna, and in the individual microcosm, and the same thing is called Ishvara in the macrocosm. Therefore, he is Esha Sarveshwara, Esha Sarvajna, Esha Andaryami, Yoni, Sarvasya Prabhavapyayo, Bhutana. Just as in the microcosm, so is in the macrocosm. Therefore, Sarveshwara, because there is nothing other than himself, so he knows all by about himself. But there is nothing to know about himself. Therefore, he says, I knew nothing. So he knew himself, but he knew nothing other than him. Whereas in the macrocosm, Ishvara is the creator of the world, or he is from where the whole creation seems to be appearing from. Therefore, he is a Sarveshwara, and he is a Sarvajna, because when he himself becomes everything, he has to be knowing everything as the closest as possible, or that himself. The best way to know something is to become that. So if you become the objects of the creation, then you know the object of creation. Therefore, he is a Sarvajna. And he being a Sarvajna, he is also Andaryami. Andaryamayati yaha saha Andaryami. He is the one which is moving in and through every creation. Whether there is moving creation or apparently stagnant creation in our eyes, like the mountains and the stone, etc., we call it as inert. But even if you look at it from the scientific point, there are atoms where there are movements permanently happening for the electrons and protons, etc. From the scientific point of view, it is the one which is moving inside every creation, every molecule of creation. And it is from him the Sarvasya Prabhava Apyayav, the creation and the dissolution. Just as in the macrocosm, the Ishvara creates the whole universe and it is dissolved into himself as per the Shruti. But as an individual microcosmic level, the Sushuptaha, the Prajna, he also is experiencing that. His world of experience of the waking and the world of experience of the dream, he absorbs into himself without any projection on experience of his mind. His mind becomes no mind. So, and when he wakes up, the entire world is created in one second, not even a second, a fraction of a second. It is the whole world comes with the memories of the past, present, and the future. All those things are immediately spread in front of him. So he is the potential for the bijam, or the seed in which into it everything dissolved in the sleeping state, and from the sleeping state when he wakes up, everything he projects to the world outside. Now this is the macrocosmic and the microcosmic way of looking at it. Then the Acharya Gaudapada, knowing very well these are very high subtle philosophy, wrote the commentary for the first six mantras in the form of Karikas, and divided the Karika into four uh, subject matter or four chapters. The first one is called Agama Prakaranam because he is talking the Upanishad and the explanation of the Upanishad. Agama means Veda. So where it is related to the Upanishad mantras itself, it is called the Agama Prakaranam. The second Prakaranam which he wrote was the Vaitatya Prakaranam. Vaitatya means Mithya or Maya. So there the detailing of why the illusion, why the Mithya world is called Mithya and the impact of it, how does it affect, all those things are dealt in the Vaitatya Prakaranam. The third one is the Advaita Prakaranam. Advaita Prakaranam is where one is the substratum or the consciousness from where the whole world is coming, but the world is supposed to be appearance only as a Mithya. So how do you say there are two things? I am there, the world is there. So there are two things. That how it is resolved into one, Advaita Prakaranam, there is no duality or non-dual is the theme of the third chapter. And then is the Alada Chandi Prakaranam is a Prakaranam which later on, philosophers say it's an addition later. It was not there in the original one, but the theme continues where he is giving examples of a torch, the wooden torch with a burning, fire at the end of it when rotates appears to be a circle. That is what is Alada. And that example is used, and there are similar other examples which is explained in that chapter for the clear understanding. All these things, wherever there is technicality and difficulty for ordinary people like us to understand, Shankara has written Bhashya for those things. But there are some places with the Karika of Acharya himself is very lucid and clear. There is no need of an explanation. So Shankara has not done any commentary on that. So in the Agama Prakarana, so after the first six mantras, Karikas, there are 8, 9 Karikas which explaining the six of the mantras in Gaudapada's own language. Bahipratnya Vibhurvishyo Handa Pratnyastu Taijasa Ghana Pratnyastada Pratnya Eka Eva Stridastita. Now the three states which we said that Bahipratnya, the external consciousness, Andapratnya, the internal dream or Taijasa, and Ghana Pratnya, where it is a mass of awareness or a mass of knowingness. Eka eva tridasita. There is only one which itself is, as standing as three when it is associating with each of the experiences. And these things will be much more clearer when you further go into the subsequent Karikas. The second Karika says, Dakshinakshi Mukhe Vishwa Manasastu Taijasa. Akashe cha hridi pratnya strida dehe vyadastita. Dakshinakshi Mukhe Vishwa. The Vishwa or the gross experiencer is identified with the right eye, representing the entire sense organs, and the mind, manasastu taijasa, mind where we have the subtle experiences, both memory, dream, etc. are in the manasas. Kriti akashecha, in the space of the heart is the pratnya, is that deep sleeper or the pratnyanaghana or what we call it as pratnya. And in the deha vyavastita, in the body of the individual, these three have been placed by the Ishvara or the creator himself. Vishyo hi stula buk nityam taijasa pravibhukta buk ananda buktada pratnya strida bhogam nibodada. Now, having placed as the three responsible entities in the body, they also interact with their experiences. In the gross consumer is the Vishwaha. That is the one which is in the, what we said, the gross we call the waker. Nityam Taijasa Pravibhukta book. This Pravibhukta book means subtle experiencer. He is the Taijasa. Ananda Bhuktada, the enjoyer of the bliss of no, uh, another one to take away the energy. He being himself all alone. That is that state of where nothing else is there for you to be consumed or interacted. That is the state of Ananda book. And that's a Prajna. In this form, Bhogam Nibodhada. They are all having the enjoyment of life. Bhogam Nibodhada. Sthulam tatparyate vishwam praviviktam tu taijasam anandascha tada prajnam trida triptim nibodhana. Here he is talking about the triptim. Triptim means satisfaction. Trida, in the three forms, he is satisfying himself by the gross in the Vishwa, the Taijasa or the subtle Pravibhikta book, and Ananda is that bliss, state of bliss or that deep sleep. These three are the one which is giving the satisfaction of the interaction for the entity which itself identifying with the three states of experiences. Having told that, now comes the fifth mantra from where today's lecture will commence. Trishu damasu yad bhojyam bhokta cha yat prakirtida. Vedat tadedupayam yastu sa bunjano na lipyate. Now he said that he is knowing that he is trupti, he is satisfied by that. But in the fifth mantra, what he is saying that Trishu damasu, these three states of Vishwa, Taijasa and Prajna, or waking, dream and deep sleep. Yet Bhojyam Bhokta, what is being the object of consummation, and the Bhokta, the one who consumes it. In this way they are known between the two. Veda, please understand, Etad Upayam, these two are Yastu Saha Bunjano Nilipide. Even though there is this dichotomy of the subject and the object in each of these states and everything, the one who has become the three in the three different states is different from the one which is associated with that. He is neither consuming it nor is he tainted by the consumption. He doesn't, he in Bunjano na Lipede. This Bunjano na Lipede is the same thing which he has borrowed from the Brihadaranya Upanishad, where it is a detailed discussion between Janaka and Yajnavalkya. So what does it say? An example which we can think is that suppose if an individual becomes an office goer and he interacts in the office, there is pressure, tension, scolding from the boss, work to do, some success, some failure, all those things are happening. When he comes home from that office, he is not the one who was what he was in the office. Because as soon as he reaches home, he has got a different set of world where his family, his duties as a householder, vegetables, shopping, household chores, all those things. That time, interactively, he may remember some of the office things, but he is not affected by that the way he will get affected in the office. And when he goes to sleep, neither he remembers his office, neither he remembers his family, nor himself who was there in the office, nor himself who was in the household role. In that person which is there in this vein, the individual, even though he was consuming those roles in this independently, he has not been affected by these events which is happening. When he goes to sleep, he is the pure one where he knew nothing. And that state of nothingness shows that the events, even though he was interactive and he felt everything as if his own problems, that he could remove and keep aside, whether it is the office thing or a household thing, and he could be untainted by the interactions which he had been doing it in the three states. Even the deep sleep is not affecting him, where he didn't even know who he was. If he had really known that he has not become nothing, not even with the physical body with which the identification takes place, even that did not affect at the time of sleep, is that the state. So even in the three damasu, three states, the consumer and the consumption objects has never tainted, even though even he was interacting with them. Neither have they affected him in reality. To understand that, we should know what is the next Karika is talking about. Prabhava sarva bhavanam satamiti vinishchayaha. Sarvam janayati pranas chetoamshu purushat pratak. Now, sadam vidyamanam, ityukse sarva bhavanam prabhava, that all the creations beginning, please understand, vinishchayaha, satamiti, that is that sat or Satchidananda in another word, both are the same, is the one from where Sarva Bhavanam Prabhava, the Utpatti or the springing up of all creations is from that space. Please understand, Vinishchaya. Sarvam Janayati Prana. Now, the prana is that which not the Panchaprana, prana, apana, samana, yamana, vyana, udana. That not, he's not talking about the Panchaprana here. Here the prana is that seed form of Ishvara, which is the Andaryami in the individual. Because Esha Sarveshara, Esha Sarvajna, Esha Andaryami, Prabhavapyayoho Sarva Bhutanam. There in that sixth mantra it has been said. That Sarva Bhavanam is the prana what he is being referring to here. Sarvam Janayati. It is that prana which is creating our world of experience. We are not the one who is creating. We are associating with the waker when we are with the waking. We drop the waker and the association with the waker and its own experiences, good and bad and ugly, in the waking. And in the dream, we have another world created by the same prana. And in that, we associate as I am the dreamer and I am having the dream. That who is the dreamer other than you, who was the dreamer and enjoying in the dream, is the apparent creation by the prana again. Same way, the one who says that I knew nothing, I was in the deep sleep, I had a good sleep, or I enjoyed the bliss of good sleep. He is the one who is saying that, but that also is the associated, identified body with the deep sleeper, which is saying that, which in one waking he says that. But the prana, which is the bijam, which is the same as the part of the macrocosm which is there in the microcosm, is the one which is from where it is happening. Just as in the macrocosm, the Ishvara is creating the whole world, whether it is the waking world for the entire creation, or whether the subtle world for the whole creation, or where he makes things disappear and new things come up. All those things are in the macrocosm is exactly similar what is happening in the microcosm also. Like Cheda Amshuman Purusha Pratak. Now this Amshuman, that Chaitanya Amshu, it is the ray of the awareness or the what you call the energy, or you can't call the energy. It is that light of knowledge or light of awareness is that Purusha, and he is Pruthak. He is separate from the one who was there in the waking, who was there in the dream, who was there in the deep sleep, and he is the light which is in whose light the association, when it happens with the gross, we call it as a waker. The association with the dreamer, we call it as a dreamer. The association with the deep sleeper, we call it as a dreamer. But in all the three things, he is not affected by it, even though he knows that he is going from one to another. In all the three things, what is happening is that Taijasa, Pratnya, Vishwa, it is all by one entity, which is the Chaitanya, or the the awareness, the light of awareness, which we'll call it as the Chaitanya. That is the Purusha, which is there in the body, which is experiencing the thing, which is separate, which is knowing that I am the one who is dreaming. He knows the world of dreams, the entire objects of the world. When in the gross state, he knows that he is the one who is knowing the gross things. He himself knows that he is the knower of the gross things, and that I knew that I am the knower of the gross things. He is that entity in the awareness. He is, when identifies, he calls the grosser, or the waker, the dreamer, or the deep sleeper. So in these three, what happens is that only when we analyze these aspects in our own experiences with application to our individual experiences, not as a theory put down by the Upanishad or Gaudapada or Shankara or the teachers, look into yourself. Each one of us should analyze one's experience and verify what the Upanishad is saying is applicable to our own individuals. There may be difficulty to that segregated way to separate out from the experiences, but the way in which the Karika has been written, the Upanishad has been told, it is not at all difficult if one wants to look at it from that point of view. You can see that your own knowledge that you experience the gross world is a knowledge in you, but you can also know that the knower of that gross world was not there with us when you were in dream. Therefore, that is a separate one. I am still there, who then was the gross person who was knowing the gross objects. Same way in the dream, the dreamer and the objects of the dreamer can be separated out. When you are not dreaming in the waking, you can say that I dreamt. I dreamt means I became the dreamer is what you are saying. When you said I dreamt, actually speaking, you are not the one who dreamt. You became the dreamer to experience the dream world. But that standing out, that you becoming the dreamer, is easily understandable from the waking point of view. But from the dreamer point of view, to segregate the waker is difficult. But when you compare between the waker and the dreamer, you can say that both are identical. I can be separate from both a waker and the dreamer. And when in the waking, when I say that I had a good sleep, the one who enjoyed the sleep is also, I am the one who, like I enjoyed the waking, I enjoyed the dream, I am the one who enjoyed the deep sleep also. But I have no definitions or no clarity as to what was my, entity at that time. But definitely, as a knowledge existing, or the pratnya awareness, which is projecting or giving the experience of the deep sleep, can be visualized in the waking, that the deep sleeper is also my own experience when I dropped both waking and dream. So the threesome, and the fourth one, to which we will be coming on the seventh mantra, that has been developed in these mantras by the Karika, in the by the Gaudapada. Prabhava sarvabhavanam sadamidi vinishchaya sarvam janayati prana pranam tasputak. This is what we now just completed it. In that, what we have to see is that how does this creations or how does this happen? If I am a real entity, from me, how can the unreal entities come up? Because the dream was momentary, it never lasted. When I was dreaming, the waking never lasted. But what I saw in the waking, when I next morning, when I wake up, some of them are available, some of them are not available. The time has moved, space has moved. I might have aged, my cells have changed in my body. Some of them who were alive there had gone. So all these things are transient in nature. If I am the reality, the Sat, Satchitananda, from me, how can this changing world ever appear to me? Or from where did all these things happen? Shankaracharya answers very clearly saying that Vandya putro na tattvena mayaya va apijayate. That means a barren woman can never give birth to a child. So it is not like that a non-existent thing has created something out of nothing, like the barren woman and child. Whereas you need a substratum which is true and real and existing, on which you can project anything. In the waking, the dream, and the deep sleep, you need a reality. The reality of on the substratum, you can project anything. The screen is the reality in which you can project a movie. If the screen is not real, no movie can be projected. The same thing in the snake and the rope example, unless the reality was there in the rope, the snake cannot take a reality shape. The reality of the snake is borrowed from the reality of the rope. All the three times before, while seeing the snake, and later, the reality was always residing in the rope. So only on a real or a true entity, anything can be projected. That projection, how it comes and everything, we will see it later. But the basic understanding we all should have is that unless we know that these apparent changes of the waking, the dream, and the deep sleep are transient in nature, not real. If it is real, means it should be remaining all the three times. That is the definition of the reality. Trikala abhaditam means in all the three states, past, present, and future, now, while before, now, and later, it should not change. Yadna vyabhicharati tat satyam. That which not, it will remain as it is. It is not that it is available in all the three states, but in all the three, that reality will not change its shape, its nature, its appearance, or its own qualities will not change. See, you can say that certain things are there for when I went to sleep, but it is there when I woke up, when I go to bed, and again when I came up, it is still there. But has it gone through changes? We don't realize those changes because time and space has changed. We don't superimpose the change of time and space on the object, but we look at this as object and say it is the same. But the true reality, what Advaita talks about is Trikala Abhadidam. Abhadidam means untouched by the three changes of time. That is the only truth. So, that type of a truth is absolutely mandatory even for the experience of the waking, dream, and deep sleep to be projected and seen or experienced by the waker, dreamer, and the deep sleeper. So, if it is been a asat vastu means non-existent thing. On non-existent thing, never can there be a projection. The dream was not a non-existent thing. The reality of the dream while dreaming is not of the objects of the dream, but of the reality of the substratum on which the dream is being experienced. The reality of the waking of the objects and the subject who is experiencing is not the reality of the objects of the waker or the objects. It is the substratum in which these things are existing. Same is the case in the deep sleep. The knowing nothingness has to be in somewhere. There has to be a locus in which I knew nothing, yet I had a good experience of knowing nothingness, and where I even did not feel my body and identity, individuality, etc. But I cannot deny that I did not exist, which shows that their existence was there. That is, the reality was there very much in the deep sleep also. So what was that? What is that reality or the sat vastu, which is on which all the three states are being projected, has to be understood. That is why the word used in the Karika, satam iti vinishchayah. In that sat, satam means it in the sat. Iti vinishchayah is what is to be understood. What? Sarva bhavanam prabhava. All the creations of the world, all the creations of the experiences, bhava means experience. Sarva bhavanam, all experiences, prabhava means creation or utpatti or where it is thing. In sadamini vinasheha, you please understand it is on the sat only it is happening. Sarvam janayati prana. This janayati, the word janayati is different from janat. Yeah, this thing. It is the janayati means one who creates. Jananam is the birth. Janayati means one who creates. So prana is the one who creates. Sarvam janayati. Why? Using what? Cheto amshun. It is the rays. Amshun is basically in Sanskrit means rays or the light. Chetas. Here chetam shun means the rays of the Chaitanya or the Satchitananda or the awareness. That is the Purusha Pratak. That is the one which is different from the three experiences or the three worlds of experiencer and what is called the subject and the object and the whole thing. So the substratum has to be understood is that it is that prana in the individual as the ray of ray of awareness, which is the reason why which we are able to experience these three states and the object in all the three states. Then comes the next. Vibhudim prasavam tvanye manyande srishti chintakaha swapnamaya swarupedi srishtihiri nirvikalpyata. Here, now Gaudapada is refuting the popular stories of creation by other philosophies. In the sense that there were, while he was writing this Gaudapada Karika, whatever philosophies there were prevalent by different philosophers as this is the cause of the creation, this is how the creation has happened, all those things he is taking up in the next few mantras with Karikas. Some of them are saying that it is the Vistara of Ishvara. That means Ishvara, the macrocosm, is the one which is spreading himself and as a Srishti. Because they are also using the same Agama or the Smriti mantras for that purpose. Bahusyam prajayeti. Tatrushtva tadeva anupravishat. In the Taittiriya also, there it is there. But their meaning, what they understood is different. So they thought, they saying that the Ishvara, having really created the world, has entered that world. They are not making this appearance part of that it is a projection. No, they are saying it is really projected. And some of them are saying it is like that Maya or like a dream. Like a dream, the Ishvara, it is the Ishvara's dream, which is the reason why it is Banyante Srishti Maya Swapna Maya Swarupa iti. Is some of the Anya Srishti. Anya Srishti means some others say that it is the Maya of Ishvara. And like a dream, in how we project our dream world, this is the dream world of the Ishvara, and we are all objects of his dream. Is the philosophy by some of the people who are philosophizing those days. Basically, they are also referring to certain mantras from the Upanishad. Indro Mayavi Purureva Iyate. Indra, that here it is not the Indra of the Purana, that is the Indra here it means Ishvara or Brahma. Maya, using Maya as his tool, he uses create Maya to create the whole world. See, look here, we should understand that Gaudapada is refuting Maya also. This is one thing which you should keep it in mind. He is saying that Maya is not a cause for creation, nor Ishvara is using his Maya to create. Please understand that this is the approach which Gaudapada is taking, which Shankaracharya is also very clearly, explained in his in the Bhashya. For example, what Shankaracharya has given example is that there were these Indrajala magicians which are not nowadays available. I don't know if there is anybody there that there is a recorded event in the 18th century by one Britisher which happened in the city of Trivandrum, where such a event had happened. That is the last recorded event for that type of a magician. What he did was he come to the stage, and there the stage doesn't mean that the stage is like our auditorium and everything. It was in the semi-dark in dawn time they do this thing. That is a condition they can do it. He throws a rope into the sky. The moment he throws it, the rope stands like a rod, rod straight. It is a rope which was flexible and which can be coiled earlier has become a straight like a rod now. And he changes his form without any need of any gadgets or anything. He becomes a warrior for a clash with the enemy. He climbs the rope as if the rope is like a wooden stick, and he vanishes into the sky. What you can hear is clashes in the sky, but you can't see anything. And later what happens is that the parts of that person who had gone up, his right eye falls, right hand falls, left hand falls, his leg is falling separate, his hand is falling, his torso is falling, finally his head is also falling, all in different pieces on the floor of where the demonstration was going on. Everybody screams and shouts and everything, but all these while happening, the one who was doing this, he was standing with folded hands separately side by the side, which could not be seen by others. For the one who is projecting the magic, he never threw the rope up, never did he become a soldier and go up, never did his parts cut and fall down, never has he become a dead person and falling down. The moment he stops his projection of the magic, all the audience, what he sees, the same person standing where he was standing before the magic took place. This example is given in the Shankara Bhashya for this particular thing, that Maya, like how the Maya is exactly like the magician does it. even which is not possible is made appear to be possible. That is that way in which Maya is being projected by the some of the thing. But they are not knowing the truth that all this while when the Maya is being experienced or the magic is being experienced, the magician who was doing that, he is the truth and he was always available without any changes. And this is the why the the Aryans or the Aryas, which means the wise people, has no interest in the Maya, nor the Swapna, nor the projection, nor the creation by the Ishvara into different forms and everything. All those things are of no interest by the really wise people who are interested in the knowing the truth. And there are some other things they say that Ichchamatram Prabho Shrishtiriti Srishtau Vinishchita Kalal Prasudim Bhutanam Manyante Kalachintaka. Now here talking about that another set of people who have given theories for the creation. Ichchamatram Prabho. It is the desire of the Ishvara which is the Srishti. Because they are using the word Soakamayata Bhusyam Prajayeti is a Upanishadic statement. He desired, let me become many. So they are using this is the statement because of which the creation is taking. Kalal Prasudim Bhutanam Manyande Kalachintaka. Then there are people who are even there those days available like the the Big Bang theory people. The time started with the Big Bang. Kalal Prasudim. The time and the whole thing, whole creation took place with the time. So Manyande Kalachintaka. But they are also not able to substantiate why this is not possible because they have no real explanation for what is the time. But they say that from that time onward the creation has started. So they say that so many Manvantaras, so many Kala Pralayas, this is the lifespan of Brahma, this is the lifespan of Ishvara, this is the Mahapralaya, this Manvantara, all those Kala related life, creation is being explained by those people. This is another set of people. And then comes the last one of the group is called Bogartam Srishtiridi Nanye Kridartam Iti Chapare Devasya Swabhavoyam Aptakamasya Kaspraha. Bogartam Srishtiridi Nanye. Anye means others. God created or the Ishvara created the world because for him to enjoy. He was alone, he was getting bored, he wanted to enjoy, so he created in his own reflection many other creations. These are all is that Bogartham. Kridartham means for enjoyment also, for satisfaction or for and for indulgence. These are the two ways in which people are defining that. So Gaudapada is asking, Apta Kamasya Kaspraha. One who has got everything in himself, how can he have a desire to enjoy or desire to play? Neither is possible for a person who is full in himself. A person who knows everything, Sarvajnaha, Sarvavit, Sarveshwara, for him where is the bhogam, where is the krida? Where is that indulgence and where is the play? For him, therefore he says, Devasya Esha Swabhavavayam. This is the nature in which the creation is happening. Now, this itself, Devasya Esha Swabhavoyam, explanation will take one full session, which I am keeping for not next Wednesday, the following Friday. Because Devasya Swabhavoyam is to be understood in its purity and understanding. What Gaudapada is saying is that it is by nature this is happening. And why the moment you bring that is the nature of it, all conflicts and contradictions and challenges which can be thrown will have to be set aside. So this particular part which is Devasya Yasha Swabhava Ayam. This is the nature of the Creator is going to be explained in the following Friday. Next Wednesday we will have Guru Purnima, a special session on Mahavakyas by Rajesh Advaita Vedanta Kendra. Already it has been scheduled and put it in the calendar. So there won't be any Mandukya Karika session on Wednesday, but Friday this Devasya Yasha Swabhava Oyam, that alone will be explained. Before we go to I will also do the preamble for the seventh mantra. Nanda Pratnyana Bhi Pratnyana Veda Pratnyana Pratyanaganam Apratnyam. All those things will be the following days which we will be taking up. So next Friday, Devasya Esha Swabhavoyam and the preamble for the seventh mantra will be the Friday's topic. Wednesday we will have Mahavakyas, and with that I end today's series. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Thank you all.